I think what we can take from the showing of the children's faces is that they want to be seen as this very wholesome family, which they probably are. And Meghan is going for this wholesome mummy image to sell her products because that's what she has said is she wants to get a really big business off the ground so she can make as much money as possible. And she would be a fool if she hadn't realized that, a mum and kids is a very, very appealing mix. A mum, a kids, and dogs, which they also have, is an even more appealing mix. And I think that Meghan is moving away from this glamorous, meet my friends, aren't I a brilliant cook image to trying the mummy image and showing the pictures of their children who are gorgeous. I mean, most children are gorgeous. So they traditionally people have used children indiscriminately, really, as a selling point in all kinds of advertising because of their innocent appeal. And I think this is what Meghan is going to do in the future.
You ever notice how the British tabloids just can't function unless Meghan Markle's name is in their mouths? It's like their morning coffee. Without her, they can't even start the day. Oh, here we go again. Ingrid Seward has entered the chat. And apparently Meghan Markle is now using wholesome mummy images to sell her products because, get this, everything else has failed. Excuse me, what? It's almost comical how these royal commentators act like Meghan wakes up every morning thinking, how can I market my motherhood today? No, Ingrid. Meghan doesn't need to use anything. Her name alone has these journalists foaming at the mouth and rewriting the same tired script. Because without Meghan Markle, half of Fleet Street would be out of business. You want to talk about selling something? Let's talk about how these so-called royal experts sell Meghan's name, image, and even her children's privacy just to keep their paychecks rolling. Today on Meghan and Harry Tales, we're unpacking Ingrid Seward's latest desperate headline and exposing why Meghan doesn't need to prove a thing. Because when the tabloids can't find scandal, they invent one. So buckle up. Because this one's going to sting. Let's unpack what Ingrid Seward and her fellow royal commentators are really implying. According to them, Meghan's decision to share glimpses of her children or even design a product inspired by them isn't love or pride or motherhood. Nope, it's marketing. But funny how that only applies to Meghan. When Catherine, Princess of Wales, shares family photos of George, Charlotte and Louis, she's hailed as the perfect hands-on mum. But when Meghan, a woman who's been relentlessly attacked by the same press, shares something tender about Archie or Lilibet, suddenly it's a PR stunt. The double standard is almost Olympic level. Let's talk about this so-called failure Ingrid keeps bringing up. When Meghan and Harry stepped back from royal duties, the press said they'd never make it without the palace. When they built successful partnerships, Netflix, Spotify, Invictus and Archewell, the same media screamed, they're cashing in on royal fame. Now, when Meghan launches AsEver, a lifestyle brand celebrating mindfulness, motherhood and meaningful living, they yell, she's exploiting her kids. So which is it? Because if Meghan breathes, it's a headline. If she blinks, it's a branding strategy. If she smiles, she's manipulative. If she frowns, she's in trouble. These journalists don't report on Meghan. They rely on her. Let's be honest. Ingrid Seward's latest comments say more about the state of royal reporting than they do about Meghan Markle. For years, the British tabloids have turned Meghan into their golden goose, twisting her every move, fabricating insider sources, and milking her name for engagement. Without Meghan Markle, they'd have no clicks, no outrage, no business model. That's why every few weeks, someone like Ingrid crawls out of the woodwork with a recycled line about Meghan's image, her strategy, or her marriage. They know that if Meghan's name isn't trending, they aren't either. So when they accuse Meghan of using her children to sell products, what they're really doing is projecting. Because they're the ones using Meghan's children for content. Now, let's look at the so-called Wholesome Mummy image. If celebrating family, love and motherhood is considered a marketing ploy, then what does that say about us? Meghan and Harry have chosen to raise their children privately, away from flashing cameras, away from intrusion, away from toxic tabloid culture. And yet, when they do share something heartfelt, a photo, a small detail, or a nod to family life, the critics come running with magnifying glasses and judgment. Remember Meghan reading to Archie in that Save the Children video? That wasn't a PR move. That was a mother sharing joy while raising awareness. When she mentioned Lilibet's birthday, it wasn't branding. It was love. If anything, Meghan's family moments remind people that she's human, and that humanity is something the tabloids can't monetize unless they twist it into scandal. The irony here is rich. The same journalists who say Meghan uses family for fame are the ones constantly dragging her family into headlines for clicks. They've discussed her pregnancies, her children's looks, her marriage, her in-laws, her home, and still have the audacity to call her manipulative. Let's get real. This isn't journalism, it's addiction. The UK tabloid machine is addicted to Meghan Markle, and every time she goes quiet, they start to twitch. Because silence from Meghan means silence for them. That's why even a family photo becomes a scandal. Even a product named with love becomes strategic. Because if Meghan isn't in the headlines, they have nothing to sell. Meghan and Harry aren't performing for anyone. They're living. Their choices are rooted in purpose, not publicity. Their lives in California aren't about escaping responsibility. They're about building freedom. Every project they take on, Invictus, Archewell, AsEver, aligns with compassion, mindfulness and service. That's authenticity, not arrogance. So when Meghan shares a candle inspired by family dinners or a design that reflects motherhood, it's not marketing, it's memory, it's meaning. The tabloids can't grasp that because sincerity doesn't sell as well as scandal. Thank you for tuning in to Meghan and Harry Tales. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because here we celebrate authenticity over agenda. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and remember, the real story always lives beyond the tabloids.